30 minutes, I think, is going to go quick. So let me just give a little bit more introduction around the attention economy, and then I'm going to hand it over to this esteemed panel. This is something very near and dear to my heart, the attention economy. We're in this era where brands have to compete with everything. And we heard a little bit yesterday from Charlie Palmer. We're about to head into this age of synthetic content. So we went through this exponential increase of content. We're going through that next phase of exponential increase. And so we're in this era where attention span is less than a goldfish. So the hardest thing that we have to do as marketers is grab somebody's attention and compete for that attention. So what we want to really unpack today is the strategies that these companies are employing to capture sustained attention, the metrics that are helping guide and validate the success, and we're going to unpack the approach to authentically and transparently connecting with the consumers that we serve. So with that said, I think we'll hand over this group to do a quick introduction to what you do and what you're excited about.
Sure. I'm Michelle McDonald with the Brave browser and search engine. I cover sales for the central U.S. region, and I'm just really excited to be at the panel and talk about this today.
Hey everyone, I'm Estee Cross. I'm VP of National Sales at USA Today Network. I'm also happy to be here. We have to share. I'm excited to share this microphone with you, Estee. Hi everyone. Yes, and we share a name, a microphone and a name. Hi everyone, I'm Esther Raphael. I'm the CMO of Intersection. We are an experience-driven at-home media and technology company. We think a lot about not only the ads that are on the screens, but also the programming and the consumer amenities that we bring to the cities that we're in.
Hey everybody, I'm Bryce. I work with Captivate. We are a creator marketing platform and managed service business. I've had the chance to work with companies like Verizon as their creator agency, AOR, Unilever for all their shopper marketing work, UIC, and doing some really exciting work in the affiliate space with brands like Nike and Zara. So really excited to talk about what we've got going on in 2024.
All right, so we're going to have 4 questions. It's all going to be kind of a speed round. I think what we'll do is we'll kind of do 2 and 2. We'll start at the end and we'll kind of work our way down. All right, so just to set this up, there's kind of 6 C's that really underpin the attention economy. We have to have a laser focus on the consumer, leveraging content and creators, and immersing yourself in the community and culture, which ultimately leads to outsized commerce opportunities for our brands. So let's unpack these 6 C's as it concerns the approaches to your business. First question for Bryce and for Esther. All right, so with platforms and consumers' behavior changing constantly, and as consumer space demands for their attention, how can companies adapt their attention-grabbing strategies and stay ahead of the curve?
All right, well that was a lot of C's, but I'm going to focus on 2 of the C's, commerce and content. I think when you're thinking about the attention economy, the scariest part of it all is the reason is now attention is a form of commerce. What we pay attention to is what we're willing to spend our time with, to really absorb and to engage with. And I want to speak on behalf of content as it relates to ads, since we're all in the advertising business here. You have to really make sure that the ad you're creating is for the platform that you are serving it on. I think that that's really important when you're speaking about capturing an audience and capturing attention. I'm so inspired by the sales marketing tagline that TikTok uses. I'll share a piece of someone else's media inspiration for you. One of the things that they launched a couple years ago was make TikToks not ads. And like such a simple statement, but so smart, because it was that recognition that you can't just take the ad you created for a magazine and slap it in your out and out of home screen as it relates to Intersection and what I do, but really thinking about the context. Who are you speaking to? Where are they? And marrying that with your own brands and how you communicate. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're really talking about captivating an audience. I couldn't help myself. And I think, that's really where creators play such a key role, because I like to talk about permission and creators having permission to speak to certain groups of people about certain topics and ways that maybe brands cannot. And so we just started working with the NBA this year because they're seeing a shift in consumption around television and things of that nature. They just launched the in-season tournament, which we got here for last December. There's a lot of education that had to go around about that. And building off of what Esther said, we really started to look at what are the passion points in and around basketball, right? Because the NBA is certainly on the court, but there's fashion, there's sneakerhead culture, there is tech. There are all these different things that bring casual fans into the game. And how do we bring them into the loyalty funnel? And so for us, it was looking at audience personas, matching those creator archetypes to really drive home key messaging around education of the IST and then tune in of when the finals are happening. So if you think about a casual sneakerhead, that person might be living in an urban environment. What are those audience demographics? And then looking at the evolution of the social platforms, what are they engaging with on TikTok versus Snapchat versus Instagram? How do we make that message about, obviously the shoes that are on the court, but also interweaving the education of why the courts are painted crazy, or why you should care about this tournament that's happening. And so for us, when we think about creator casting, it's no longer give me some TikTok, give me some Instagram. It's really taking a level deeper so that we can connect with those folks and then drive home where we want to send them or what we want them to learn from the content we're creating.
That's awesome. All right. So I think what I'm hearing is that we want to be purpose-built for the platform. Context is really helpful as a way to break through, and all that's kind of rooted on the consumer insight and ultimately the objective. So we start there. And then we have to think about maybe the other side of this and kind of just what we're dealing with as brands, kind of just in the ether, especially as we head into an election year. So let's talk a little bit about, kind of in this age of skepticism and distrust, this age where there's deep fakes happening, how are we building authentic brand experiences that resonate with consumers and earn their trust?
Oh, well, that's such a great question. Trust is obviously huge here when it comes to attention. Brave has a rewards program. Anyone who actually knows Brave that's out there knows about the Brave Rewards program, where we're really giving control back to the user of their data, and you get to choose, like, do you want to see ads? How many ads do you want to see? Are you okay with seeing ads? And in exchange, you're going to receive basic attention tokens, which is a form of cryptocurrency. And we found that that's really built a huge amount of loyalty and trust, because we know that 87% or something like that of users that use Brave will only use Brave. And if they do use Google and Bing, there's always an ad blocker on there. So that's what's worked for us.
So, as the publisher of the panel, I think when you think about skepticism and trust is built over time, right? It's about delivering content for us consistently, accurately, over the course of time and building a relationship. You spoke about content earlier. I think as a publisher, we have an audience development team that wants to understand what our audience is reading when they come to us, why they're coming to us, how they're coming to us, and then using that to inform the next cycle of publishing. So when we think about trust, it's really about showing up, being persistent, being consistent. And as a brand, it's understanding what your brand values are and honoring them when, as they sometimes do, things go awry in our industry. And if you hold back to those brand values, the consumer that you're talking to will continue to come back again and again.
I think the ultimate measure of trust from a brand is conversion. And so one of the things that we like to talk about within the creator economy is also that last word, which is thinking about creators as points of purchase. And so a couple years ago, we started building out an affiliate suite, which we were able to kind of scale really rapidly for brands like Zara and Nike. And so now, if you think about what Nordstrom did years ago, which was really great, I'm a tall guy, regular clothes don't fit me, they'll have a sales associate there to tell you the model's wearing this, this is how it fits, we pair it with these jeans. I feel a lot more confident to click the button and go ahead and purchase, because I don't ever send anything back. I've got a closet full of mismatched clothes that don't fit my proportions, right? And now, you already trust that creator, you're accepting of their content, you're coming to them for advice. We can help them get paid and help companies scale that even more, which I think is a really true indication of where the economic impact is going. For Zara, the creators don't get paid up front. It's all about a conversion on what they sell. And the number one selling creator for Zara right now is a woman who's like 50,000 followers. It's not someone, we have people that have millions that are participating, but it's really this woman who sells jeans like nobody's business. And so as we think about how all of this kind of leads people down the funnel, that's what I'm really excited about in 2024 and beyond, is how do we actually show brands that your trust is actually paying dividends to your bottom line.
I think about trust in this context also about privacy and how brand speaks to me. You know, as the privacy laws continue to roll out, how do you serve an ad that is not intrusive but it's clever? And there are so many times that I've served an ad and I'm so bothered by it because I know that you just cookie me, following me everywhere I'm going. And what I was most inspired by my last trip to Vegas and thinking about personalization and trusting that advertising experience when I was here in May. My husband and I were going to a store. We always go to the same store, and I was like, oh my God, that's so lame. Like, let's try another store. And I look up and I see an ad home screen, which was not my own, but so effective. And it says, new store opens at so-and-so location. And we decided to go there. And immediately en route, the next sign says, take a left to get to this store. And if I didn't work in out of home, I would have thought that like the voice of God himself was telling me how to spend my money to get right over to the store. But that was the moment where I thought about like that definition of personalization, which as marketers we've been using, and it almost meant nothing other than literally be intrusive and follow people on their journey. But in out of home, there's a unique opportunity to marry audience and location and to have a little bit of an understanding of what they're looking for. You know, I'm about to go into this store. You know what I'm looking for. You know, I'm in Vegas. How can you make that content? How can you make that ad serve me? And if you serve me and you give me utility, I will trust you.
It's about understanding what the consumer
Yeah.
and the audience cares about and delivering on that promise. And when you deliver on that promise, then you're going to be able to capture their attention. So it's data-informed, creative, right? Telling you to turn around, and married with data-informed environments, and that leads to attention.
Can we build on that? I appreciate you bringing up data and technology. Part of what we heard also with kind of building trust. I mean, sometimes technology is the issue, but technology can also be the solution. I think what we're also hearing a little bit is just the idea of really understanding your consumer, being fully transparent in what your brand experience delivers, and bringing them into that process. So, kind of with that said, I think I assume, we have kind of data and technology as kind of an underpinning of most of our business plans and just our go-to-market. So really, how is data and technology informing your approach to capturing attention? And kind of what are the tools and the platforms that you're leveraging to personalize these experiences?
So this is big for us. Oh, sorry. I forgot I said the mic. So I know that the idea of mindset targeting doesn't sound new to everyone, but the way that Brave is using mindset targeting is different because we're a browser, privacy browser. So we can, see the last 10 pages if you're in market for auto, for example. You can see that you're looking for cars, not have any PII attached to it, and then if someone has opted in to receive ads, serve them the ad, about the car, about the auto. And the best part about it is that we don't even charge the advertiser unless the user clicks into it and stays at least 10 seconds. So we know it's qualified. We know they're actually paying attention and care about this.
We rolled out our data platform last year, and it rolled out with behavioral and interest and demographic, and we're building on that with intent in 2024. So wherever you are in our organization, it's informing all of our content and marketing decisions. And so we're looking at things like the volume and velocity of your content consumption. We're looking at all sorts of more, smaller but important engagement metrics like depth of scroll and time on page, and a lot of that is informing that environment and those decisions on what we're publishing.
Do you find that's what marketers are asking of you in terms of closing attribution?
I think that's what marketers will be asking of us. But I think, and if I can sort of digress for a moment, because we talked about creative, I think that there's a lot in attention that in the conversation that we're having that doesn't include creative as part of the factors in measurement and monetization. It also doesn't account for dog barks and the doorbell that capture your attention and pull you out of the article that you're reading, and that's not measurable, but it's part of the consumer or the user or the audience. It's part of their day. So yes, and I think there's a lot more to be developed as we continue to talk about this.
Okay, I think we only have about 5 minutes left, so we're going to go to the last question. It's a little bit of crystal ball. Really, we're here at CES we're all thinking about what our year looks like ahead, starting to kind of set that foundation, set our KPIs for the year. So as we think about how the attention economy continues to evolve, what do you see as the biggest challenges and the biggest opportunities that are facing your brands and the brands that you serve collectively?
I would say the challenge is the same challenge every year. Change is hard. It's easy to do the same thing over and over again. But, I mean, it's not working anymore as far as attention. And I would say privacy is the future. Test and learn. There's a lot of great brands out there that are really leaning into privacy, and I think that's what.
I think yes, plus one. I think for us, it's data. It's understanding our consumer. It's working with partners who want to understand their consumers. I think attention is intentional, not happenstance, not accidental. So using data to understand that will lead to attention.
Attention.
Intention leads to attention.
And I think there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of challenges tied to everything we have learned at CES with AI. Jay and I were just talking about Mark Cuban, for those of you who were not here. He said that we're going to go from millennial to Gen Z to Gen AI, which is so scary, and I'm scared for what my child's little robot friend is going to be teaching him. But there's a ton of opportunity when we think about our own business and how we can do things smarter. One of the products that we launched this year was an opportunity to actually create creative using AI that narrows it down to the street that you're on. So instead of a human having to do that, being able to say, like, here is the kind of food that the people in this neighborhood like, and here are the restaurants, here's the map to get there. There's so much beauty and opportunity in that, and it's a lot of scary change.
From the creative perspective, or creator perspective, I think I would put the challenge and the opportunity somewhat interwoven. I mean, I think when this first started, I started doing this in 2015. It was like, get me a Kardashian, I want to trend on Twitter. And so we've all kind of evolved when we look at creators, but I think it's really how do we tie that kind of above the line messaging and that really awareness messaging and have a cohesive strategy all the way through to point of sale. We learned a lot yesterday about retail media networks and the ways that we can really think about driving home conversion even offline. If you think about creators as a content studio and the way that you can take this content and put it on gas station TV, put it on digital displays in store, and be really intentional about what is the purpose of why I'm enlisting these people and how do I actually track the full funnel attribution. It is a challenge, but it can be done. And I think the one thing that we always want to do is we want the hardest problem. So, I think continue to challenge each other as marketers and as partners is going to be really fun to see in an election year, in an Olympic year, as AI comes on board. So yeah, I think that's where I would leave it.
I love it. Well, thank you guys. I thought this was fantastic. I think this really helps us give the right roadmap, the right inspiration as we really think about what it means to build a brand in today's day and age and to do it in a responsible, authentic, trustworthy way. Thank you, everybody.